Welcome, welcome, welcome to our first class of the weekend. I'm going to wait a few minutes here and let some people jump on. And I'm also going to check and see that we are live. So hold on one second. And let me double check that we have the live going. There we go. All right. So we are on and going, and actually let me mute this so that I don't listen to myself type. Hi Rachel, hi Kim, how are you guys doing? Thanks for joining me here on this lovely Friday evening. How fun, how fun. So we're just gonna wait a few minutes, let a few people join us, and then we are gonna flip over and start. And we are gonna work on this fun little guy here. It's just a fun little junk journal. I've got some little mixed media stuff. We're gonna make this super, super easy for everybody to create. This is just kind of, it's for fun, right? If you've never really done junk journaling or you always wanted to create a little mini album, it's gonna be something fun for us to do. And Melissa, thank you for joining. Welcome, welcome everybody. And yeah, we're gonna have a good time. I do ask, because I haven't done one of these in a while, and I am flying solo here, that you guys give me a little bit of grace as I try and keep up with comments and all that. Hi Nicole, how are you? And Linda's here. Welcome, welcome guys. This is gonna be fun. Have you guys got your supplies ready? Right? And you don't have to have, I'm using the stuff from the Moss and Mirth collection. You don't need to have that. You can have pretty much anything you want as far as just some papers, a little notebook. It'd be a plain notebook. And before we start, I'm actually going to go through a couple of new things that are in the shop right now. Something that actually finally came in today. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to show you guys that. So you get a little sneak peek of that as well. Ricky's here. Hi, Ricky. Welcome. Stephanie is here. Welcome, welcome, guys. All right. So if you guys have never been to one of our lives, we're just going to have fun. We're going to do a little crop. We're going to have fun. Ask me questions along the way. If you guys are unsure of how I'm doing something or you want me to explain further, please pop in and leave me a note and let me know, and I will do the best that I can. Sometimes I can go kind of fast, so even though I'm like a seriously slow crafter on my own, sometimes when I'm explaining things I go a little fast. So if you need me to slow down or you need a little extra time with something, please holler. And remember, we will save this and post it to YouTube next week, so you can always watch it again, or you can get caught up if you've got to leave. I have no idea how long we're going to go. I'd like to keep it about an hour, but I don't know, we'll see. Sue is here. Hi, Sue. It's so nice to see you here. So that's what we're going to do. All right, I am going to flip this around, so bear with me as I move the lights a little bit. And thank you, Sue. And we're gonna flip it around, and I will get you guys set up on my workspace here. So hold on, you're gonna see this happen. Let's see if I can get this right. Get to see the ceiling for a minute. There we go. And we're gonna zoom in. And then I'm gonna, if you'll bear with me just a second, I'm gonna adjust the lights as well. Let me flip this a little bit so that you're not looking at just my glasses there. Okay, cool. I think we got that right. Hold on. Get my light so we get good lighting here for you guys. It is Michigan, so it's already getting dark at night. And it's part of the reason why I wanted to do 3 o'clock is so that it's not so gray and so dark. So can we see that all right? I hope so. Look at all the I know, right? And we're gonna, you know what I pulled out? So in this originally, and let me see if, hold on one moment while I get my computer going so I can see you guys' comments as well. So I had originally on this used some watercolors, but I pulled out instead my watercolor colored pencils. I felt like I could have a little bit more control, so I pulled those out, so we may play with those a little bit today as well. I think that's going to be fun. And yeah. All right, let's see if we can keep this going. Okay. So the first thing I want to show you guys, and I wanted to go through real quick before we dig into this, so bear with me, but this is kind of fun stuff, right? We have that just finally came in today. We've been working on these forever. These are little envelopes that work perfect for your stickers. They lay super flat. The closure is this little slit, which is really, really nice. So it makes it really easy. It, again, lays nice and flat. These are awesome. I will have these in the store hopefully by next week. So super fun. Love that. And we're going to have, like I said, they'll fit our bigger stickers and the smaller stickers. And we have our little logo on them. And we got a ton of these. So we've been working on those for a while. So I'm happy to see that. And for whatever reason, my, I apologize. This may be a bit of a problem because it is not, hold on one second. While I see if I can get this to figure out. I'm not seeing your comments come up. So, let's see. Hold on a minute. I apologize. I had gone through all of this earlier today and not had an issue, but we'll see. Okay, so I just want to make sure I've got, okay, I think we're rocking and rolling now. All right, the other thing that we have are these great new A5 size plain journals. And they have a black cover. They have just the grid in the inside. There's two different styles though. So you have the regular staple and then you have the cheesecloth binding, which is really, really fun. And the thing that I love about the cheesecloth binding is they lay completely flat as opposed to, you know, you get your typical staple binding and they don't lay as flat, right? But the cheesecloth does, which is super, super fun. Love that. And just a couple of fun things that I've been doing with these I wanted to show you guys is, so I've been doing this scrap a day, which is really kind of fun. So you just punch something from whatever randomness you want to do and you just fill it up. That's it. There's like nothing else. It's just kind of a fun little journal way of, you know how you get fun tags and different things like that? So I've been doing that. I've been doing one to showcase the washi. So this one was with the September. With October, I'll do something with the washi tape as well. So that's kind of fun. And then, oh, I did some white stamping. Played around with that. And then all of my fountain pen inks. They come in such beautiful packaging. I didn't want to throw them away. So I started punching those out and putting them in one of the notebooks as well. And then I think the other thing I want to do is have a record of my stamp sets. So each month's stamp set maybe, or if I break it down by season, I'm not sure, but I may use them for that as well. So that's just kind of a little peek at a couple things that we have going on. All right, let's get going. And I will share with you. So I'm going to start with, get my glasses on here, this fun little guy. Let's talk about this just for a minute before I dig in. What I wanted to do, I am a very, I'm not a messy crafter at all. Like if I do memory keeping or scrapbooking or anything like that, I'm not a messy one at all. So what ends up happening is I end up taking a long time, which is fine with me. I mean, that's my style. That's what I like to do. But what I really wanted to do, especially with the addition of these great thinner pattern papers that came in the creative kit, I wanted to play around and do something that was fun, that I'm not overthinking, that I could just use a glue stick, that I could just tear some paper and literally have fun with it, right? That it's not this, you know, that you're worrying about too much as far as placement, about it being perfect. I think sometimes as crafters, we get stuck in this whole mode of everything has to be perfect. And I don't want that to be that way. I want sometimes to just do it just for the fun of it, which is also why I did not really add any photographs in here. This was more of an exercise to craft just for crafting's sake, right? To just have fun. So I wanted, like I said, literally washi tape, glue stick, and some die cuts, and we're just going to have some fun. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. We're going to follow this kind of closely, but I may, you know, add a little twist here and there. And the other thing I wanted to mention that's kind of cool is, and I'm using, this is the mini size. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, don't be afraid to cover up these pages. Now this notebook obviously is kind of geared toward planning, right? Because we have the days of the week, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, no one says that because it says the days of the week, it has to be for that. That can just be a design element, right? The stripes, or you can literally just cover it up. So that's what I am going to do. And all we're going to do is take some pieces of pattern paper, and you're literally just doing this. You're tearing and we're gluing, and we're just going to do that on all of the pages. So you guys, a lot of you have really, really loved the addition of all of these great, the thinner pattern papers in the creative kit. We're having fun with that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm literally just tearing and layering. And I'm not worrying, I'm not being finicky. Hi, Tammy. Tammy is here. Welcome, welcome. And I'm just going to make sure, like I said, I'm having a little bit of trouble that I'm not seeing comments come up. So I may be hitting refresh on here a couple times. I apologize for that, but for whatever reason, it's not showing up there, but that's okay. So we are going to just do this and see once. I apologize, guys. So I said, remember to give me a little bit of grace with this because I'm afraid that some things just don't always go as we planned, and that's okay. And then the other thing that I'm adding on here is, so you could do rub-ons, you can do washi stickers, you can do regular stickers. The creative kit had this fun little booklet of washi stickers. So I'm going to put one of these in here. And one of the other techniques that I wanted to show you is that you don't necessarily have to, if you want to add a little bit of texture when you put these down, or when you put other like pieces of washi tape too, you can wrinkle them just a little bit like that, and it kind of adds that fun texture. It continues on with that bit of imperfect feeling, which I think is what we're trying to achieve here, honestly. So I've got another one here, and I'm just, it has this, that's what I love about these papers. They're nice and thin, and you can just tear and have some things stick out over the edge. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all either. And you're just gonna just keep layering, right? Glue stick. We're not even using expensive glue. Super, super simple. And so look at already the great layers you have. You have a little bit sticking over the edge there, which I like. And then I'm going to put a pretty die cut on here as well, just for another layer. And these are our great die cuts that are basically stickers. So look, I mean, what did that take? Like so fast, right? And now we're going to get a little bit, we're going to do a little artsy stuff here. So I'm going to use, so I picked out these colors. Now again, you can use markers if you want. You can use regular watercolors. You can use some acrylics. I think you could use some acrylics with this. I really like these because they're just a little bit more controlled. Hi, Tammy. Tammy is here. Welcome. And I'm going to go, let's just do a little bit of the green, right? And I just am going to add that on here. And this is cool. If you've never seen watercolor colored pencils before, and we're being messy, this is the whole point, right? Then if you use one of these actually already have water in them. And when you add the water, how cool is that? You end up with this beautiful watercolor, and you can add more later if you want it a little deeper. I love how it is actually kind of going along the edge here. I'm going to go under this a little bit. You could splatter a little bit of paint on there, would be fun as well. I love that. And that would be a fun place to add a little journaling when it dries too. Then we're going to actually do, let's throw some washi on here, right? So you already have, in a matter of minutes, you already have a page almost done. I love this thin vine washi. I think it's really, really pretty. So I'm just going to put that, look how pretty that looks. And that's it. That's a page done already. And I think that turned out really cute. Now on this side, I want to take one of our, I love these little deco cards, because these are fun if you, like I said, if you don't necessarily want to add photographs or do a lot with titles or alphas, these are fun because you can just throw these on and you're done. Where's my tiny attacher? There we are. So sometimes I like to add a little texture with a stapler, so I will do that, and I will put that on there. But you know what else? I feel like I want to do a stamp on here, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's do that. Let's use a stamp. So we kind of fill in this space here behind this. And again, there's lines here. Doesn't mean we have to add journaling. Doesn't mean we have to do really anything. But I think it would be fun to do this beautiful fern. So I'm going to take that and we're going to throw that in the background here. So let's do a little stamping too, right? So I have not, these are my new ones. I usually use just my samples. So I'm going to kind of figure out where I want to go. Now, one thing I am going to note is this is a little higher. So if you're new to this, is just a little side note on stamping. This, if I were to just try and lay this down, I'm probably not going to get a clean edge on this side of my stamp, because this height of this book is it's not flat. I'm okay with that because, again, we're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to have fun, right? But it's just a side note that that may happen here. And if you don't like that, you could flip it over. I mean, we could do this to get it flat. But it's just one of those things. Sometimes if you're new to stamping and you wonder why you have troubles or things that happen, that could be one of the issues, is you don't realize it has to be completely flat before you do it. It wouldn't have bothered me because we are not looking for perfection here at all. I think that's really pretty. I'm going to add a little bit of glue on the back of this. So how cute is that? And then if I wanted to, I could add a little paper clip and tuck in another little leaf. And I have just a selection of a bunch of little ones here. Sometimes these are kind of hard to open, but we're going to give it a shot. And I'm going to add that on right here. I think that's cute. And then I think I have a little leaf somewhere. This one's pretty. Oh, here, we're going to do this one. And I'm just going to tuck that in there just like that. And I love to have things kind of lay over, go outside the edge, and that's it. Now, one thing I will do, just for the sake of, because we want to move on here, I'm going to take an extra piece of paper because this is wet, and I'm just going to lay it there in case it gets a little bit, I don't want it to go on the other page. So that's what we're going to do there, and we're going to move on to another page. And let me just double check and make sure that you guys, that I'm seeing everybody's questions. Okay, cool. All right, we're going to go on to another. And again, you can leave this page as is. You can cover it up. You can cover up the whole thing. I'm going to do a strip down the side here again, kind of like we did before, but I think I want to do it a little thinner. And so it's just, and I love, like I said, I love having that off the edge a little bit. So let me know, I would love to know if you guys have been playing with your November kits, if you are saving them, if you're going to do anything special. Are you making mini albums? Are you thinking of making mini albums for December? You could do the same idea if you wanted to do like a December daily type of idea. You can do the same thing, which is the big thing that Allie Edwards always talks about when she talks about her December daily that I love, is that you're preparing it all ahead of time so that when it comes time for the season, you can plunk in the pictures. I've tried that and I'm not very good at it, simply because I tend to plan my layouts around the photograph, so it's a little bit harder for me, which is probably why I kind of liked this as well, because then I was able to just kind of play and go. And I want to add a strip of washi tape here, so I'm going to go with this green. This isn't as thin as the other one, but I'm just going to lay that right down the middle. Use my cool little handy dandy washi cutter, which I'm trying to do at an angle, so I didn't do very well, but there we go. That's a little better. And then I'm going to put this over top, but I feel like I want to put a little bit of paint on here. So let's go back with maybe this brighter. So if I look at kind of where this is going to fall, I want a little something down here maybe. So I'm just going to do literally some little blobs. And I know you're like, what are you doing? But trust me, it'll look kind of cool. So we're just going to kind of add those. So this comes into where if you wanted to splatter some ink, it would be really fun as well. And I love to do that technique, but I just think that's just kind of pretty. And a little bit of glue stick. And we're going to put that kind of at an angle. I love those deco cards. They are so fun. Okay, while that one dries a little bit, what I wanted to do, if you look at the sample, I did what looked like little swatches. So in the supply list, that was one of the things I mentioned, was grab some cardstock. So in the scrapbooking kit, we do that. We have some leftover pieces of, or we have the white cardstock that comes in the scrapbooking kit. And I like to save any pieces. These are good to stamp on. In fact, I've got somewhere in here. If you stamp on them and cut them out, the images, you have basically like your own little die cuts. And you can do that for the paint here. I can't find it. I'll find it later. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to do a couple colors that kind of go with this really pretty plaid here. So let me check. Gina says, I have the November Creative Kit and Simple Daisy Notebook, and I loved. Oh, yes, that was something I was going to mention. I'm so glad you brought that up. So I'm using the mini, but you don't have to. You can use the simple. Isn't that beautiful? I love that birch kind of background. So that's a simple. You could use a different size. You could use a plain one like the ones that I just showed you. That would work perfectly fine as well. I liked the mini simply because it kept it on a really nice small little scale. So I didn't feel like I had to fill as much. But, so, okay, I want to do some little swatches because I think that's just kind of a cute artsy look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 colors, and I like, let's go with these 3. And basically all I'm going to do is do about 3 spots here, leaving a little space in between. And you're just going to make like swatches. So I'm going to get my little, now again, you could do this with whatever you want. You could do this with the watercolors, with the colored pencils. You could even do it with markers if you wanted to. But I just think that this is just so fun because it's like magic, right? Rinse my little brush off. And then I'm going to take I think this one's a little thick, but that's okay. And then I'm going to make lines, just kind of rough lines. Again, we're having fun, right? We're just playing. And now I have these neat little swatches. Normally I would let that dry, but that's okay. And then I'm going to cut these out. You could tear them if you wanted them to look real messy. You could use a paper trimmer if you wanted them to be real perfect. We are not doing that. And then I'm going to add, again, another little staple to the top. And then that's it. I'm going to add that on here. Isn't that cute? It matches my colors on here. It adds a little bit of artsiness. You could add some words to that. Actually, I think I may throw on a little sticker on there. Would be really kind of fun. But I am going to look for, I want to add something over here kind of under it to layer. What did I see? Oh, you could also layer, these are really cute too. The little sticky note pads. This is fun. Let's do that one. We're going to layer this over here. This just makes me so happy because, like I said, I am usually, like, to do one layout for me normally, this would take forever because I would be like, oh, it's got to be perfect placement, and it's got to be here, and it's got to, and I'm not doing that. And it's freeing in a way, and it's really fun. And you guys, you have to try this. Like, set aside your perfection, your control, your idea that it has to be, you know, that someone is going to criticize, anything like that. This is just for you to have fun. And that's why I absolutely love this. How about we do, all right, here's it, perfect, right? We're going to give each other some everyday grace, right? How fun is that? How cute is that? This is what I'm talking about. Make sure that that's still in frame. And Nicole said, I forgot, yes, get out your watercolor pencils. Like I said, it's fun. It's like magic when you add the water. So look at that. We did 2 spreads already, and we're moving on. You could add some journaling here if you wanted to. You could tuck in a little photograph. Anywhere that I'm using these deco cards, you could add a photograph if you wanted to. You certainly do not have to. All right, now All right, we're gonna have some super fun here because this is one of the things that I love to do in notebooks that might be a little intimidating at first. Let's layer this page first, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do on this side. So I'm gonna actually get a new sheet because I'm gonna need another whole. I'm hoping I didn't use them all. Should be the birch. There it is. And I don't know about you guys. I would love to know. I can't be the only one. Jeff makes fun of me because I have this beautiful, huge desk. Like Rachel said, like all the crafty goodness, right? I have this huge desk. And I'll start with everything is laid out nice. And then as I progress, I end up with like 12, maybe 10 inches of space that I can work in. Because there ends up being so much stuff everywhere that you end up with, there's no space to put anything. And he teases me about that all the time. I'm like, hey, you know, that's why I have a big desk. So I'm going to tear this about halfway across, and I want to go down. Yes, see? Rachel knows. Same thing. You can't help it. It just, I think it just makes it all the happier. It's just a happy mess. It's just a happy mess. Like Bob Ross with the happy little trees, right? And creative minds are rarely tidy, right? I think that's very true as well. So we are going to take this page and we're going to create a fun layer by tearing it down. So I'm going to go down about to here because I want this page to show through. So you can't interrupt the creative flow. Exactly. You cannot interrupt the creative flow with cleaning. She has a very valid point. So I'm going to just carefully tear this across. Okay. And then I'm just going to tear this page right off. And that's it. Now you have this fun, shorter little page. How cute is that? You can save this. You could totally use this on something else. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cover, let's see if I have a scrap that will fit a little better. I'm going to cover this one with the same birch paper. Again, super, super simple. Same, I have 60 and I managed to keep just enough space on them. Melissa, it's exactly right. But the nice thing is when you have that big space, you know, you can still reach it all. But yeah, you end up with this tight little space and you end up with piles everywhere. But that's okay. That's the fun part. I'm going to add, let's see. I think I want to add some more because I'm having so much fun with these colored pencils. I'm going to add a little bit more down here like that. And I like this brown. I think it's pretty. And you just, if you've never used these, you can just squeeze them and you get a little bit more water to the end. You know what I haven't done in a long time? Because I haven't played with these watercolor pens and we're just experimenting. What if I mix another one in there? What happens? I make a mess? Maybe. But that's okay too, because we're playing, right? Well, I kind of like that. That's kind of pretty. Okay. Maybe when it dries, you can add another one. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't played with them in a while. And Sue, you are right there with me as well. I love it. I think I may go in and do a little bit of paint splatter on all of these when I'm done. I did that on my original here, and I always love to do a little bit of paint splatter. All right, so we are going to add another something here. And I think instead of, Well, let's see. I kind of like that. I think that's kind of fun. Let's do that. So I want it to stick down more permanent, but I'm not going to put glue all the way down at the bottom because I want to curl the edge just a little bit. And I'm going to tear it a little, and we're going to mush it up a little bit. And maybe even, I don't know, let's tear the edge off a little. Well, that's kind of fun. I like that. So again, we're just playing, we're having fun. I want to put something on here. If I have, I don't know, what do we have in here that we could add? There's some beautiful artwork in this little washi booklet. Oh, that one's cute. I like that one. That one's cute too. I think I used that one somewhere else. Oh, that one's pretty. And that one kind of goes a little bit with that one. So we're going to do this one. We're going to layer this one right over top. But what I want to do again is I want to really kind of up the texture quotient here a little bit. And we're going to do that. I like that. I like that a lot. But I want to add one more thing yet here. Now, on this one, I had made a little tag and added it with some little bit of watercolor. You could do that as well. But I think I want to do something different. I feel like I want to add something else. What do we have here? I'm trying to find, I had stamped this and cut it out, but you see I have this huge pile here now, and now I can't find it. It's in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. I found it. Because I think that would be, isn't that cute? I love that. So I'm going to add that on here. And then I think I'm actually going to stamp on this too. So I'm going to add that in there. So again, you're just layering. You just keep layering and layering and layering, having fun, adding little bits of this, little bits of that. What if we do, I don't know. Do we like that? I don't like that. I have the birch on there. Do we like the green? Kind of like the green. What do you guys think? I like the green. So I'm going to add that one on there. And I'm going to use my little washi cutter, make that a little bit easier. We have some extras of these in the store too, by the way, which is kind of fun. So I think I want to stamp something on this. So what do we have here? And that was part of November. The little mushroom. The mushrooms would be kind of cute. All right, let's do those. Let's do the mushroom. Seeing how we have a whole mushroom theme going on here, let's do the mushrooms. So I'm going to clean this one off. And I think I might do that same green again as well. Put that over there. We're going to do this. Now, one thing I want to mention, so here's another fun little technique. If you are stamping on something, so obviously this stamp is much bigger than the image that I want to stamp it on. So what you can do is just take a scrap piece of paper like I have here, and you're masking that off so that it doesn't go on the other areas. So I'm going to grab, I'm going to do, actually let's do this Dijon. That's kind of a pretty color. Let's do that. I'm going to ink up our stamp. And my stamp is actually, my stamp pad is getting pretty light. So we may get a little bit that doesn't show up, and that's okay. All right, so I'm going to go about here and put that on there. But see how it doesn't go over to here, and that's really cute. I like that. All right, and then I'm going to clean that off. Now let's play with, and I think that that page is really kind of done. I think that turned out cute. You could always add a little journaling on there if you wanted to. You could add some more washi tape. So we have this fun little page here, and I want to just add another one of these because, again, they make it very simple to do things. And we're just going to kind of tuck that on there. You could use another clip if you wanted to. You could staple it on there. You could glue it on there. Like I said, some of these clips can be kind of hard. It's a little thicker, but that's really cute. So now you have this page, and then you can add a little something to this side. I think let's do a rub-on, because I want to talk about the rub-ons a little bit as well. And if there's anything in particular you guys want me to highlight or show you, just please let me know, and I'll make sure and do that. So we already have some cute little mushrooms on here. Try and lay that a little more flat for you guys. So I don't know if I want to add, we have some fun words we could do. I don't know that I necessarily want to do more mushrooms on there. Maybe a little pine cone is cute. Ooh, those flowers are really pretty. Let's do the flowers. Let's do the flowers. So now one thing to note, the first thing I do when I take my rub-ons out of the package is staple the backer to the rub-on sheet so that you don't accidentally slip, they don't stick to something, and then you lose your rub-ons. That's never a good thing. So I'm going to cut out, sorry, no idea why my phone is ringing. And then this way, also, there's no chance that you're going to have a problem with any of the other rub-ons adhering to anything. And then I'm going to put this one on here. I think that is really, really pretty. I have a nifty little rub-on tool. You can use a bone folder. You can use the popsicle stick that comes with it. All of those things will work. But the one thing that you always want to make sure you do is that you hold the rub-on down, that you don't have a problem with it moving, because if it moves, it may jump, and then part of it may come off, and you don't want that to happen. So you just got to make sure you get all of it on there, and so you can see that I'm continuing to hold it down, and there's a lot of little pieces. It's a pretty big rub-on. But I love how easily, I don't know why that's doing that. And then once you get where you think you've kind of hit all of it, what you can do is you can slowly peel up a corner. We'll start up here. And okay, so you can see there's a little bit that I've got to get. There's layers here on the other side, so I may have to push a little bit harder to make sure it goes down in all of those spots. But we can carefully, like I said, it's a larger one as well. I want to get all of it on here. There's a little bit. So if you just go real easy and go as you rub as you go, just kind of check, and you'll get all of it just fine. Maybe because there's a little bit of dampness too from the watercolor that I put on there. Sometimes that will be a little bit of a problem because it's not completely dry. And then, but I think that that's really pretty. Isn't that pretty? That is so pretty. So again, you can add a little bit of journaling there. You could stamp a little saying there if you wanted to. But I love doing this. You can do, I've got another page coming up where we tear it down this side. And I think that's kind of fun as well. Now, one technique that you guys see me use all the time, and I love doing this, is the envelope that the deco cards come in. I think this is so fun to actually use as an envelope. Why not reuse it? So rather than throw it away, part of the reason we package them in this is so that you can reuse it. Now on my example here, I have a really pretty little saying that I typed up. And so you could do that. You could add journaling. If you're using this idea for an actual mini album, you could tuck in a bunch of photographs. So again, this is a great technique if you're creating a mini album for a vacation or Christmas time, something like that, and you want to make sure that you have space for all of those extra photos, because we tend to do that when we go on vacation or we have a special event. We always have a ton of pictures. So it's fun to use these for that. You can also use these if you have recipes or kind of like hidden journaling. If you want to do that, it's like it's journaling you want to have out there, but you don't necessarily want everybody seeing it all the time. You can tuck a note in there as well. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a couple rub-ons on here, but I'm thinking I'd like to maybe stamp something on it. I mean, I can always put, I don't know, let's do a stamp on here. Which one do we want to do? I love these. I love this kind of field note thing. So maybe this one. Let's start with that. I want to do that. I think that'd be kind of cool. And I do always love to stamp in black. That's just always my favorite. Yes, I like to layer the colors and everything, but I love a good crisp. I always like to use my VersaFine ink when I'm doing in black. But let's start with a little trick I do is I lay it down first and then I use my little grid so that it's straight. Okay. Now you guys are going to have to forgive me because when I stamp, because my eyesight is not the best, I have to get right over top. But so this may not be perfect, but we're not looking for perfection, right? I cannot wait. I know Rachel's here. I can't wait to see her class, and I can't wait to see Jenny's class. They're going to be so fun. And you guys will have to let us know if you enjoy these. This might be something that I can do more often. I know it's something that originally having Jenny do the unboxings, one of the things that I wanted to then do more of myself was some of these fun videos. So you guys have to let me know if you like this, if this is something you'd like me to do more of. It would be kind of fun. And just life has been really, really crazy lately, so there's that. But we'll get there. So I'm going to mask this off again. I'm going to put this here because I want to stamp this beautiful fern again, but I don't want it to go onto, there's a little bit of a gap. That's fine. Like I said, I can't get my head over it, so you guys are getting me at an angle, but that's okay. But you can see how the mask works to keep it off of there. And then I want to add the word, forged as well. I think that would be kind of fun on here. So we're going to add that on top. And I'm going to do that in the black. So how many of you are doing mini albums? Are you doing like gratitude mini albums? Are you doing Christmas mini albums? What are you guys going to work on? I'm curious. So Kate is saying yes. Is that a yes to more of these? Because this is kind of fun. I'm having fun. You're making me not be super slow, which is always a good thing. All right. I think that's really cute. You could add a little bit of journaling in there. Let's do another rub-on this. How about a little one? Well, that one's kind of cute. Let's do that one. Do a little one in the corner. I have to say though, you know what my favorite rub-ons are the watercolor. I use those all the time, like just as background pieces. I think they're so pretty. You can do so much with them. All right, so we're gonna do that right over top of everything. And did you know you can put rub-ons on photographs as well? You can get them to work on washi tape. It's a little bit harder. You have to press down a little bit more to get them on top of washi tape. But I have had them work, but they work fantastic on photographs. Especially if you want to add a word or something like that to your photograph. And so for instance, like the what feels magical this season, if you had a large photograph and you ran this up the side, would be really, really pretty. I always love to do the words like that. You can add stamped words as well, like from the stamps on photographs. You just have to use a special ink called StazOn for that, and then you can stamp right on top of your photographs as well. And that always works too. So get these down again. I'm not over top. Now this is picking up because of the wet ink. So I'm kind of doing this bit so you can see it's pulling up a little bit of the wet ink, but that's okay. All right, how cute is that? Super cute. All right, and then I'm just gonna glue this down. And we're gonna put that right. I'm not great at the layering, so seeing examples is very helpful. Oh, good. Layering is just about, layering you can never have, honestly, too much. It's about little, it's about the texture of it. It's about little pieces poking out. If I wanted to do even more here with layering, one of the things that you could do, like for instance, these are so pretty. There's another layer. That's simple. You just tuck it in. Vellum is always an easy thing to layer. It doesn't add a lot. It's just a little bit, but you could add that in there. You could staple that on there. You could glue that on there. Little bits of washi tape, anything like that. You can layer as little or as much as you want. So don't let it intimidate you at all. I'm going to add this little guy just up here at the top. I think that's super cute. And another page done, right? Now this one, oh, this is fun. Okay, this is the one where we're gonna tear. And I loved this paper. Let's see if I can find it. I know I have one left. Where did it go? Oh, this one. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Love that, love that. So I want to basically have this whole piece right here show up. And I want to make this page smaller. Looks cute so far. Oh, Carrie, thank you. I'm sorry you're still at work, but yes, totally you can redo the replay. And the nice thing about the replay is if you want to just use this as a great exercise to practice and play, you can follow along and hit pause at each page if you want. Hopefully I'm going at a decent enough speed that I'm not going to throw you guys off too much. Okay, so I'm actually going to use my paper trimmer this time. So I'm going to make a little mark. Let's see, this is, because I want most of it to show up. So I'm going to go a little mark here, and then a little mark here. And I'm actually going to trim these. I'm just going to, because I do want it to be straight this time across the top and kind of straight. And if my measurement's off, well, then we're going to tear it, and it's going to look like we did it on purpose. So again, that's the beauty the beauty of this. All right, close enough. Cool. It's a little off. See, and now this is where my perfectionism. I don't think that's a word though. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Because that would have bugged me. Isn't that funny? All right, so we're going to put that on here. And then, all right, so what I'm going to do, I want to show you this. So I'm going to glue this on here, but I want to get it right down on my page. I want to get that crease in there. And we're going to glue this over both pages. And then to make it simple, because I want to tear this edge, but I want those torn edges to kind of match. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to glue it down, press that down. I'm going to glue it down before I tear it. So now I'm going to tear, this is glued to this, I'm going to tear both at the same time. So, isn't that fun? So now you have another short page like that. And I love that because now I can add something here and it's going to layer on here. I love that little, almost like a little peekaboo, right? And I think what I want to do, these beautiful greens, I want to do another little swatch like we just did. So I'm going to take, and this time, let's see, what greens did we do before? We did the lighter greens and that pretty brown. Let's do these three greens together because we've got all of the greens going on here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to make 3 swatches and we're going to draw the lines around them. And so the other thing that when you're doing a mini album like this that you want to remember is if you're, it can be a junk journal. A junk journal can be whatever you want. But if you have some pieces in here, the patterns, the color, have some sort of consistency, whether it's the colors, whether it's the patterns, whether it's the type of die cuts that you use, or even just the imagery. You know, if I'm talking, if you're doing like a plain notebook or something, you want it to be cohesive. And the best way to do that is to have some consistency with what you're putting in it. And so that's why I've repeated this idea of the swatches in a couple of different places. That way you get that consistency of what you're creating and what you're putting in there. And then it kind of has a flow to it as well. At least that's what I like to do. Just because, again, I like matchy-matchy, right? So I'm going to let that dry just a minute. We're going to move on to this page. I'll come back to this because I do want to let that dry. But isn't that pretty? Those colors are great. And then we're going to add that on this side. But I want to add something over here now. And I love this particular pattern with this. I think they go perfect together. And so I have this piece already torn. So because we're trying to use up scraps, I'm going to do this one here as well. And what is Tammy? Tammy says, I'm currently working on a Halloween mini album. I'm using the little CD tin. Oh, yes! Wasn't that fun? So I took one of our tins and I covered it with patterned paper. If you guys haven't seen that, if you go back and you look on our YouTube channel, it would have been the October projects for these scrapbooking kits. I walked through it, but I made a cute little mini album that lives in the little Cocoa Daisy tin, and I covered the tin with patterned paper. It's really, really fun. It's a fun way to do a little gift mini album as well. That would be great for Halloween, Tammy. That is a really fun idea. You could make a really, really cute cover. You could even take that tin if you wanted to. Oh, it'd be cute for a little gift tin, like for a like a gift card, like a coffee gift card or anything else. If you wanted to do it for Christmas, for Halloween, you could put a little candy bar in there or something. That would, oh, so many cute ideas. That would be really, really fun for Halloween to do that. All right, and then I love this green with this. And again, isn't this fun as far as the layers? I think that is super, super, super cute. Now, I feel like I want to add, so Kate had mentioned layers. Okay, so what is something, so you've got 2 layers here. What can we do to add another one? All right, I'm going to add some washi tape on here. That would be another layer. So let's see how many layers we can kind of put on here. I'm going to put this here. And now I'm losing stuff, you guys. I'm losing things. All right, I'm going to do this the right way so I can see. And I'm going to do this nice and clean. Okay. So now just like that, we've added another layer. What if we do another one with the watercolor? Let's do that. Now, here's something else. So let's say I want to get to this. I'm going to have to cut this off. So what I do, because again, you don't want that to get away from the backer, I would either use it right away or I would put another staple in there to keep it together. I'm going to set that right there, and I am going to use it again right away. But like this bigger piece here that I'm cutting off, I am going to staple this, and that keeps it safe from moving around, getting caught on something else, because we don't want to lose any of our precious rub-ons, right? Okay, so all of these beautiful greens. So I'm going to put this here. So if I wanted to do, let's put that right about there. So again, as I mentioned, you can get it on washi tape. It may take me a little bit to get it on it, but it will go on top of washi. We'll see. We'll give it a shot here. But so layers is just about playing and adding. And I think the biggest thing when you're trying to add layers is tucking things behind other things. So you want little bits to show, but you don't have to have whole big pieces. See, like I mentioned, on washi tape you can, but it takes a lot of rubbing, and I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that right now. But you could get it if you really, really worked at it, but that's fine. Actually, we're not gonna waste that though. Let's put that down. Let's put that down here. We're not gonna waste that. That's rub-on goodness. We're not gonna get rid of that. There. Okay. So again, we're gonna kind of see how that falls. That looks cute there. But you know what? Let's do more. What else can we layer under this? Let's take one of these, and these have this beautiful gold foil. And as I mentioned, sometimes you just want a little bit to show through, right? So I love this. It says, and I don't know if you can see that on there, it says, in this moment. So I just want that to kind of show through. I think that's kind of fun. And look at how cute that sticks out over top. So I'm going to adhere just this side. And we're going to put that like that. So now we've got another layer. And I think that that's about good. You could keep going. You can, I mean, there's nothing says you can't. You could keep going. You could add another rub-on down here if you wanted to. You could add some words. To me always work as far as a layer. If you want to add words to things, by stamping them. Either way, that is always a good thing, I think. So we're going to adhere that there. So how cute is that? Isn't that fun? I love that. Okay, now where did I put? I think that this is dry enough. And I'm going to grab my marker here again. We're going to do these 3 swatches. Super quick, nothing fancy. And I also like, it makes it feel kind of like like an artboard or a storyboard. Like if you're putting together, this is actually what we do at Cocoa Daisy when we're putting together a collection, is we actually put together our storyboard with all of our color swatches and everything like that. And those are then my fabulous designers will pull those colors from our selected color swatch list, which is really kind of cool. That's how we do things. I think I may go, I kind of like, and now this looks very, very neat and clean, right? So I think we need to kind of grunge it up a little bit. So I'm going to tear it a little. I'm going to use my nails. I'm going to put a few little rips and creases and stuff like that in here, just to kind of make it look like it's been in there a while, like this is an old fun little thing. See the difference? And then we're going to add another staple on here, and then I'm going to attach it over on this side, just like that. So now look at the fun layers that you have, because you've cut this page down and you've added these, and now you have this great little peekaboo on there. Love that. So that's another fun way to do those layers. All right, and then, so this side I covered completely, added a rub-on, and we did some washi tape. So let's do that. I kind of like that idea. But we're going to tear. Actually, you know what? I want to do, let me look at the papers. Maybe I want to do a different paper there. This one. I think I want to do this one, because this is so pretty. I think I want to put this in the corner. So if we, another nice thing about this thinner paper, if you don't want to use a paper trimmer, you want to take the easy way, you can just you can go old school, and you can just bend your paper, just kind of score it and tear it. And that'll give you your straight line. Because it is a thinner paper, it makes it a lot easier, and you can actually do that. Okay, I like that. And I'm going to tear the bottom again, because I really like that. And I do think I want to tear this edge again. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's leave that. I'm going to leave that. We're going to go straight on that edge. I think that will work. And I have to tell you guys, I love this glue stick. This is a Tombow glue stick. It may or may not be coming up in a kit. Just saying. Just because I love kind of giving you guys, even if they're tools that maybe you're familiar with or you may have in your stash, sometimes it's stuff that maybe we just don't use anymore, would be fun to use. Stuff like that I love to throw into a kit. So I'm going to just do this. And I think actually I might layer a couple of the washi tapes together. Let's do that. How does that look? So if I did, I don't think I want to do the birch on the birch. This other green is really pretty. It's kind of a yellow, kind of a mustard color. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? Let's do that. And I'm going to add that there as well. Yeah, the Tombow adhesives, Tammy, are really, really nice. I like them too. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Now, do we want to... Oh yeah, I do this. I do that all the time with staples. Now, the reason, I'm glad you mentioned that, Kate. The reason I don't go all the way through is I love the texture that they add, but I don't want the back of the staple to show through, and I also don't want it rubbing on the other page, especially if you have a photograph on the other page. If you're doing a mini album or something like that, it will rub. So that's why you see me staple it and then glue it down. It protects the other page from the back of that staple. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So I'm not really gonna, I don't know, do we want to add anything else on here? Do we want to do, actually that might be kind of cute. What if we did that on top of that? That's kind of cute. I'm just trying to think. I kind of like that. I could do another little rub on there. I kind of like that. But now here's something that I have to tell you that bothers me. Is I don't like a lot of white around my die cuts. So when you look at anything that I've made, most of the time you will see that I have gone in and fussy cut around all of my die cuts and taken out. There's a reason that they have to do that. It's the bleed and everything like that they need in order for the machine to, there's a reason why they need to do it. But sometimes it bothers me. Like, I don't want all that white around my image. It's just kind of a personal pet peeve. And so I will go in and I will cut that out. That looks really cute. All right, so another little fun trick, like if you want some of that to actually stay raised up, you could use foam adhesive, or one of the little tricks that I do is I will only take off, if I can do this with my nails, I will only take off the backing to part of it. So I took the backing off, but only part of it. So this part has the sticker, has the adhesive showing. This does not. So when I stick it on here, I can manipulate this and curl it a little and get that texture by having it stick up. Isn't that cute? And now, because this is vellum, and sometimes adhesive shows through on the vellum, but because I have that die cut there, I can put my sticky stuff behind the die cut and it won't really show on the vellum. And again, because we love the idea of things peeking out behind other things, that's going to give you that whole layer look. Is I'm going to have it go off the page just a little bit. Now, how cute is that? And that goes back to one of those things that I tell you guys all the time, and that's to play. Have all of your supplies out, have your things out, and just play. And that was one of the, again, I go back to why I did this the way I did, is there's no rules. You're not making it for any other reason than you're having fun with it and you're enjoying it and you're just trying out new techniques and doing stuff, right? Have fun. Okay, we're going to do another one of these, but this time in the lighter colors, the more red tones. But I want to do a little something over here. I think I'm going to keep this. I don't think I'm going to cover this one as much. So let's find, I have some scraps. I have lots of scraps. And so this pad, I have to tell you guys, so this is the same pad that I used for the original little mini notebook, and I'm using for this one, and look at all the pages I still have left. So you get you get 20 pages in each of these, and I'm finding I've got plenty to work with here. It's kind of cool how much you can do. I want to do something different though. I love that one. That one is really, really pretty. So maybe, what if we use the same paper? I kind of like that idea. All right, we're gonna do a subtle layer, because we're gonna do the same paper, but we're gonna do it over top of itself. So you're gonna do two. I don't want to cut off too much of this. I'm kind of, okay. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do another one over top of it. I think that's kind of neat. Let's do that. So you're going to get layers, but it's going to be a little bit more subtle because it's the same pattern. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So that's another way that you can create a lot of layers. Like if you were to layer a bunch of these vellum circles over top of each other, that's a very subtle thing to do. You're getting all of those layers, but it's not a harsh contrast. So if you have something where you don't want to detract, you want to add the layers, but you don't want to detract from like a specific image or photograph, or you have a different focal point, you can do that by using the same pattern, the same colors, or the same material. You can do that. So in this, this is actually really kind of fun because these are all very similar in color too. And I think I want to add more here. I want to add something a little farther down. And so again, anywhere that you would use these, you could do a photograph in place of that. So let's go back to what do we have in our stack of pieces here. There's a little bit of the birch, which is kind of pretty. This is a little bit more that tone though. That's a little more green than that. What about, so now I'm trying to keep in that color family a little bit. I think I want to tuck that one. I want to tuck that one right there. So I'm just going to stick that down. And again, I'm not necessarily sticking it all down, because that gives you, just like this, it gives you that ability to curl it up. Yeah, I like that better, because I wanted a little something else hanging down here on that one. And we have this little guy we have to use yet. So maybe, let's see, where can we put him? He's kind of cute. What if we have him? Oh, I like that. All right, we're going to put him on there. So again, it's little bits and pieces peeking out behind other little bits and pieces, and that's what gives you those layers. That's what gives you those great textures. Okay, let me see if I got that all down. I did. And these all kind of have that same color palette. Oh, that's super cute. I like that. And I think super cute is probably my favorite thing to say. This one we are not going to staple. This one I'm going to clip on just for something different. And I think the clip will look cute on the other side as well. That is cute. So you could clip something else there if you wanted to. Now, what if we did add another one of these somewhere in here? Oh, I like that. That's really cute. So it's really that simple. It's just tucking things behind other things and seeing what looks good. So there. And then again, you have that consistency, right? So now we've used these circles. Now what I may end up doing is going back through here and adding some more circles because I like the way that that looks so much. On this side, I want to do I want to do another one of our fun little swatches. And I want to do, let's see, I want to do, I don't remember. I had I don't remember what color. I wanted to do the brighter, and I wanted to do the yellow, but I think it was this one. Yeah, it's this one, and maybe it's this one. I think it's these three that I wanted to do. Let's see. And I'll probably do light to dark. And like I said, I will probably go back through and do some actual like paint splatters, because I think that's fun. You could even do some of these just individual, like you don't need to do them in sets of 3. I like to do them in sets of 3 just simply because then it looks like this intentional swatch of colors. Oh, that's pretty. That's a really pretty color. I like that lighter bit of that one too. Okay. So we're going to let that dry. We'll come back to that, and I'm going to attach those on this side, and I think I'm going to add a rub-on to it. So this would be, or you could leave this, if you wanted to do journaling or a photograph, you could leave that page open for that. Let's see. Kate said, if you were doing this in a bigger journal and you wanted to do daily writing, would you just add a blank white page on top? Yes, you could do that. The other thing you could do is you can, I honestly, to make it really, really interesting, I would write around the images. I think that I love it. Like, so let's go back and look at the front here. I would find a kind of an open spot, and I would write my journaling around everything. So you could go ahead and do this, but when you do it, you could keep in mind that you want to add journaling, right? And let me make sure I've got that in frame for you guys. Keep in mind that you want to add that journaling, so you'll leave some open spaces. So you could do your journaling here. You could do your journaling here. You could skip the paint, and you could do your journaling right over top of these layers. The same thing here. You could do it down here. You could skip the stamping on the little field notes. You could add it there. I think journaling on this would be really, really pretty. You could skip the rub-on and have this be a place just for journaling. You could tuck your journaling in there. I think this would look so cool if you had the journaling run down the edges. So your journaling becomes a layer. Your journaling becomes a layer. It becomes part of the design. I think that would look absolutely fabulous. Like if you did your journaling in here, around here, how pretty would that be? You know, think of your journaling, your handwriting as art. Because as you're going through this, what is part of the art in here? It's the words, it's the lettering, it's the fonts, right? You're just adding to that, and it becomes all part of the whole thing. And I think that would look fantastic. I hope you do that, and I hope you share that with us, because I think that would be super, super cool to see. You could also do little tip-ins. You know, if you have a page in particular that you have a lot of stuff on, but you want to add journaling to that, you could do a little tip-in page if you wanted to. So I hope you do that. I think it would be really, really fun to see that for sure. All right, that is, I'm going to do one more page. We're at what? We're 4:30. Holy cow, you guys, that's an hour and a half. That's nuts. How did we do that? Okay, I'm going to do one more page with you guys, but I want you to tell me if there's something in particular you want me to show you on this last page. I have nothing in particular that I have planned for that page. I can wing it, or if there's something you guys want me to do, tell me and I will do it. But I got one more page, and then Mr. Daisy and I are going to enjoy our Friday night. How cool is that? We have not had a Friday night in a while, to be honest. So now I'm going to tell you, I'm a little worried. My rub-on, because this is wet, my rub-on might not stick to this real well. We're going to try it. We're going to try it, but it might not, but that's all right. We'll just see. I'm going to do one more little swatch because I think these are really, really pretty. Look how pretty those colors go. I like that. But I'm going to add that here. And then, yeah, it's a little damp yet. Normally I would let it dry completely before I added the rub-on, but we'll see. Actually, what I could do instead of a rub-on, and I don't have to worry about it, let's add a die cut. What do we have here? Ooh, or a sticker. Let's do a sticker. Oh, I know what else I wanted to do. I wanted to show you guys the what I want to do on the cover. So let me find a pretty sticker to go on here. I kind of want something along the lines of those guys. Oh, and alpha stickers. So if you wanted to create titles and stuff like that, you can. Any of the beautiful vellum stickers with the sayings are always really, really nice. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here, these are cute. Because these are similar. So let's do these guys. So I like that. So I wanted to put them right over top. That's cute. And let's do another, let's see. I'm gonna do another, little saying on there. I think that's cute. We're going to add that on there. Cute, cute, cute. All right. So before I go to that other page, so for the cup, isn't that fun? I love that. So there's a lot more pages. You could keep going and going and going. This one was my sample one, so it didn't have a craft cover. And I used this beautiful label that we had done. I love the texture on that. But if you don't have that, so I wanted to show you an idea. I just have to find it. There it is. So the packing card that you guys get, I love the texture of these. These are done on such a beautiful, beautiful texture. And I thought it would be really fun to add that to the front. You could leave the moss and mirth, but one of the things that I noticed is a lot of the word stickers will fit in there. So what you could do if you wanted to turn this into kind of like what Kate was saying as far as adding journaling and that. So if you wanted to turn this into like a gratitude journal, which would be really, really nice for the month of November, is to change this out. So there's some fun words on the Bible journaling sticker kit. There's this thankful in the brown. And I'm like, okay, so if it becomes a gratitude journal, how cute is that? So that fits in there. You could add another little title in here with larger alpha stickers if you wanted to. There's some neat little, you could, oh, here we go. Perfect, 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 perfect. Let's see if this will fit. I'm going to put this right in the middle. How cute is that? Now you've turned the packing card into your little cover image. And I'm going to put that right on there, because I think these are always so, so pretty. You know, unless you collect them, which some people do. I know we have a binder. We keep one from every month at the shop too. Isn't that cute? That is so fun. All right, I want to do one more page and then we're going to wrap it up, guys. And I think I want to do, I love the idea of tearing another whole page. So let's look at what we have as far as, this would be really pretty. Maybe I want to do that. What else do we have on here? Oh, that's fun. Okay, I haven't used this one yet. Ooh, I like that. Okay. So what we're going to do that same idea that we did before, because I think that's a fun technique. So I want to, I like that. How much is, what I'm going to do, I want to get as much of that bottom mushroom as I can. So I'm going to go here and here, and we're going to trim again. This has been so fun, you guys. Thank you all very much. I know it's kind of a little bit harder because it's earlier in the day, but we did keep our daylight here in Michigan, so that's good. And then where did I put my mark? Now I can't find my mark. Oh, there it is. But again, you guys can always replay it. If you missed part of it, you can go back and watch it. But this has been so fun. I think we have to do this again. I know we talked about doing YouTube lives, but it's kind of fun just to chat with you guys here in the Facebook group. You guys are always so... I always tell people in my other videos that if they're not part of the Facebook group, they should be, because you guys are all so helpful and so creative. I love to see what you guys post with your Cocoa Daisy stuff and how you use it. I love that. And you all inspire so many people with all of your creative ideas. So I always try and encourage people to join us in the group. I think it's so fun. All right, so I'm doing this again because I love this. I think this, ooh, isn't that pretty? It's like super large. I love that. And I'm just tearing both at the same time. Look at that. How fun is that? Oh, I like that a lot. I like that a whole lot. All right, what else do we want to add on here? Ooh, I know what I want to do. I want to... I want to stamp a circle on here. Let's do, ooh, if we're going to go with the whole thankful theme, all right, let's do this one. I like this idea. I like this idea. All right. And because it's a little lumpy bumpy, let's see. I might not be able to get this image real great, but we're going to give it a try. It might not be great. We're going to do the best we can here. Normally I plan a little if I'm going to do stamping, because you're going to get a lumpy bumpy spot. Let's do the green. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. So I'm warning you, it may not be perfect, but we're going to try. Ha! There we go. Cool. Cool, cool. All right, and then what I want to do is, and that's the other thing, if you want to layer, layers are not necessarily textured either. You can get that same idea of layers just by using stamps. Stamping can be a great way to add little bits of layers. Same idea, I may end up with a little lumpy bumpy, especially because this is a big chunky one. All right. So how cool is this? I love this. I hope it works. I'm pressing a little harder than I normally would, but not bad. I can fill that in with a pen. Awesome. Oh, look at how pretty that is. I love that. See? When you just play, right? That is so cute. I love that. I feel like I want to add one of these behind. I do. I'm going to do it. I want to add one right there. I think that's cute. All right, this time we're going to actually just staple. That's cute. Oh, I love that. And then you just keep going. But how fun is that? Make sure you guys can see that. All right, that is it. We have had so much fun, you guys. Thank you for joining me today and just letting me play and show you how fun it is to not be a perfectionist, to not worry about, oh, it's got to be, just so and everything's got to line up. No, have some fun. Gather a few supplies, stick to just that small amount of supplies and challenge yourself, be creative and just have fun with it. Sonia, thank you very, very much. It's been wonderful spending time with you. And Vanessa, thank you as much. Thank you as well. So thank you, Rachel. Thank you guys very, very much. And make sure you join Rachel and Jenny this weekend for their classes. I can't wait to see what they create and what they do. And thanks again, guys, for spending a Friday afternoon with me. This has been a blast, and we will definitely have to do it again. Bye, guys.